All right, we're back working station to station. Recording date is Thursday, September 21st. The Jays are currently taking on the New York Yankees. It's game number 3 of this series. I'm joined by my battery mate and co-host, as always, Dustin. Uh, Dustin, game number 3 of this series. I don't know, been a pretty quiet one, I think. Not a whole lot of I don't know. I don't exactly hear a lot of buzz about this one in the city.
Yeah, I don't think. I think they won two here, which we'll talk about. But I think winning 2 out of 3 against the Yankees is what we asked for, and I think we got it. So I think there's not too much disappointment with this loss.
All right, let's jump right into the rundown. So the Jays entered this series 83 and 67. They're second in the wild card, zero point 0.5 games up on Texas and 1.5 up on Seattle. Game number 1, it ended up being a 7-1 win. So we had a Springer leadoff home run. That's his 57th. He, I guess, has secured second place in the all-time leaderboard of leadoff home runs, which is pretty cool. Not much offense from the Yankees, but not really that unexpected. The Yankees are playing a lot of young players at this point. Uh, so, as I said, top of the first was that leadoff home run. Top of the fifth, we had a Bo Bichette 2-run home run and a bit more offense in the ninth. I thought this was a little interesting, Dustin. Alejandro Kirk was attempting to move a runner and trying to hit the ball to the right side, and he kept on just missing it, fouling balls off, and then he just laced the ball to left field for a 2-run home run of his own.
Yeah, good to see Kirk coming back. I think a couple guys, were coming back here, including him in this game, and we need him to be good down the stretch. So good to see.
Well, and I think the one discussion point coming out of this game was Kikuchi. He got taken out of the game in the 6th inning, which turned out to be a neck cramp. And the good news was is that it was only a cramp and nothing further. And he is expected to make his next start against the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend.
Yeah, I dodged the bullet there. He was buzzing. 7 Ks, I think, 1 walk, 4 hits. In 5 innings, I think he had a pretty good outing before that exit, and I think he could have gone a little bit longer. So going into game two, we would be looking for Gosman to have a little bounce back after a rough start in Texas. And he would prove to have that. I think he had a pretty good outing here, 10 Ks, 3 walks, no earned runs, and only give up 3 hits over 6 innings. Um, I think he would trade back and forth some zeros in the middle innings after Bo Bichette would hit an RBI off the pitcher. It was kind of a lucky little shot there, but the score was 1-0, and then yeah, it was a pitcher's duel up till the seventh, and then the Jays kind of had a late inning outburst where the Yankees bullpen would sort of cough it up. They stacked the bases and then walked in 2 runs. And then in the ninth, a little more padding of the stats with 3 more runs. So a good win overall. It's good to put your foot down on the lowly Yankees.
Well, I did say last week that I don't think this is a team that really seems to respond when there's like when they can do something directly to benefit themselves. They don't really seem to respond. They just seem to kind of pick up enough wins to allow their opponents to trip up and still find themselves in a playoff spot. But I did think there was a bit of pressure here because the all of the teams that are, I guess, competing for the AL West lead along with the wild card, they all won earlier in the day. So the Jays already knew
Right.
this coming in, and that, as you said, that game stayed 1-0 until pretty late, and I think there was a little bit of pressure on, but they did respond, and I guess more importantly, the Yankees bullpen responded as well and provided the insurance that we desired in that particular game.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a disaster class in late inning pitching there, but you know, hey, we'll take it where we can get it.
All right, game number three now. Uh, Currently, as we sit, it's currently being played, and George Springer just made a diving catch, which pretty nice to see from him. Nice to have a center fielder in right field for this team. But the game is currently 5-1. Uh, Really, the Jays have been behind almost the entire game. As bottom of the first, Jake Bauers crushed a 3-run home run off Jose Barrios, and they've added a couple runs since then. The Jays managed to scratch one across the board, but really haven't offered a lot, and that's really thanks to Gerrit Cole, who was on the bump for the Yankees, and he's really expected to win the Cy Young award this year, Dustin. And when I found out he was pitching the third game, I think the importance of winning the first two can't be understated, as he is an elite level pitcher, and I really wasn't expecting they would be able to win this game anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's when we talked about, our expectations for this series. I said 2-1, and that's exactly kind of the outcome that I was thinking of when I said that. Was that, we take these first two games, hopefully, and we'll see, do our best against Gerrit Cole. But I wasn't expecting, a whole lot. He's absolutely nasty, and we're seeing why. I mean, he's just been doing this all year.
Well, they were talking about it on the broadcast, and we all know Garrett Cole's good. As I said to you prior to the recording, Garrett Cole has the most punchable face in Major League Baseball. I do not like him, but he is really good. He actually has 5 pitches, and he can throw them all for strikes. He has command of them all, and
Hmm.
it's really, when you come up against a pitcher of this ilk, it's I guess you really have to catch him on an off day, or you really have to get lucky.
Yeah, I think you just gotta kind of scratch a few runs, and hopefully, the guy on the other side is matching him pitch for pitch, and you get to the bullpen as soon as you can. I mean, that's the only formula really, because I mean, he put up what 7-0 so far, and the one run that we did score here um, was a little bit of a fluke, to be honest.
It is currently 5-2. It was 5-1. The bases were loaded, but Vladimir Guerrero, it was bad. He pinch hit, so it looks like he's healthy enough to probably play this weekend. And looks like he grounded into a fielder's choice. I don't know, maybe error there, but yeah, it's 5-2. If the Jays do lose this series, they will be zero point 0.5 games up on both the Texas Rangers and the Seattle Mariners. All of the teams that are rivals to them, Seattle, Texas, and Houston, are all off today, so they pick up that half game should the Jays lose, which top of the ninth, they still have 3 runs to make up, but there are 2 outs. So I expect that to be confirmed rather shortly. But just to touch on an update on all of the teams that are competing for these spots, we'll do a bit of a scoreboard watching. Seattle swept the A's, as you should. Texas won a series 2-1 versus the Red Sox. Unfortunately, the Red Sox couldn't really give us too much help there, other than that first game. And Houston lost their series 2-1 to Baltimore. So all of these teams, Dustin, seem to be kind of floating around a very similar record, and this one's going to go right down to the wire.
I expect it to. I expect game 162 to matter a lot in it. I was looking at the pitching probabilities, or at least counting it out, and it looks like we're going to have Gosman there on 162, which is good news. And I guess if we get lucky and we clinch a little before that, or are able to maybe go it easy on 162, then we can kind of maybe get somebody else to call somebody else up. have them pitch and save Gosman for the first game of the playoffs. So I think that works out nicely. Um, yeah, I think now's the time where we start looking at magic numbers and counting down the number of wins we need. I was looking at that today, doing some math, and uh, I think the magic number is 6, which means that you know a combination of 6 wins and losses by a team below them would guarantee the playoffs. So um, I think we get a little bit lucky. Basically, we're a game up, well, half game up now on the other teams, um, Texas and Seattle, and they play each other 7 games. The worst outcome for the Blue Jays would be that they split that series and then they each sweep their respective non-head-to-head matchups. So I think Seattle plays Houston and Texas plays the Angels. So if they sweep those 3 and then go 4-3 against each other, that's the worst case scenario for the Jays. That would mean one of them only gets 4 losses, and so we would need 6 wins in that worst case scenario in order to clinch a playoff spot. So, I mean, they hold their um, fate in their hands. They have 10 games, including the one they're playing right now, to get those 6 wins. And the way that the Yankees have been playing, that hopefully that can be done here. It looks like they're rallying. Oh, and maybe not.
Well, maybe not. Okay, you're probably ahead of me because I was
Yeah.
just about to say I didn't want to cut you off, but the Yankees are doing their best to throw away this game. Uh, and you love to see it. I think we need to say it that the Yankees being this bad, uh, you love to see it. You love to see this team that is always spending more than everybody, and they're kind of got that bit of attitude. Always, they're always just there. And you know what? They're dog shit this year, and I was really hoping they'd throw it away, but there it is. Spencer Horwitz grounds out to first. Game is over. And so the Jays are now point 0.5 up on the Rangers and the Seattle Mariners. The Jays do start a weekend series tomorrow, Dustin, against the Tampa Bay Rays at the Trop. And we have Bassett, Ryu, and Kikuchi going. Can you give me maybe some outlooks, what you think might happen in this series?
I gotta admit, I'm nervous about this one. Like we talked about last time, I think that Tampa Bay is, really trying to get into that division lead so that they get their bye. So they're going to be, playing tough and playing for something against the Blue Jays. So yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm hopeful that we can pull out a win or two. Um, I think, 1 win would be acceptable, but 2 is sort of the dream. I think, so I'm going to predict. I'm going to predict 2-1. I'm going to get on the hopeful side of that, but it's going to be tough.
Definitely tough. I did look at the pitchers starting for the Tampa Bay Rays. No real household names, which is good. And a couple of the pitchers I think have losing records. So uh, there might be an opportunity there with the starting pitching against the Rays. Of course, they have plenty of other horses to make up for maybe a possible weakness in their starting pitching. So they are racing and trying to claw back against the Orioles, and that one probably will go down to the final weekend as well. But I am hopeful for this series. The Trop is not really a good place for the Jays pretty much ever, but yeah, if we could salvage a game out of this series, it wouldn't be the worst. And meanwhile, Texas and Seattle start beating up on each other in Houston. So hopefully we can come out of this weekend still in the playoffs, and the outlook for the rest of this season or the last 2 series because they're both at home. I think should be good.
Yeah, it's exciting. Wire to wire baseball here. It's I guess what the bigwigs in the MLB wanted when they expanded the playoffs and added wild cards and all that. So yeah, it's good to see, and we'll be on the edge of our seats for sure.
Well, Dustin, I don't think too many talking points to this New York series. It's one of the series that usually, when the Yankees and the Blue Jays play, there's some shared, I guess, importance that's happening. Like earlier in the year, the Yankees and Jays were kind of competing, pushing for that top of the division before. I guess they both definitely the Yankees fell away, but the Blue Jays kind of fell off a bit. But really, the Yankees didn't really. There was nothing in the series for them at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were all but mathematically eliminated, and uh, I don't even think bragging rights against the Toronto Blue Jays is meaningful for them right now. They're just trying to pick themselves off the mat. Um, yeah, it, it's good to see as a Toronto fan, of course. F the Yankees, but you know, I'm sure they'll be back next year.
Well, saying that, I'm pretty sure Garrett Cole has a voodoo doll for Alek Manoah, and pretty sure he's probably pretty happy tonight because it's Garrett Cole, so he's a prick.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
well, I think that is all the time we have. We will be back on the weekend, and I guess the next episode will probably come out sometime on Monday. But we will be back following the Tampa Bay Rays series. Thank you very much for joining me.